Bitcoin dropped 75, Ethereum dropped 85, Hex dropped 95. Which one do you think is going to get up the hardest?
Hello, everyone. Welcome, chaps and chapesses. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the show, which starts at 12 noon Eastern. So this is 8 a.m. Eastern. So I have got work to go to. I've got an event today, so I'm about to leave in a few minutes. So I'm going to speak really quickly. So you may have to play this on half speed. Okay, welcome to the Sunday Abundance Show, where we discuss health and wealth principles in the crypto space and beyond. My name is Dr. H. I am the CryptoPractor, and I like to bring you hands-on solutions to financial and health issues. So with no further ado, we're going to dive straight in. Okay, and welcome to the historical perspective of the richest man in Babylon. So let's get to it. Enough of this silliness. Okay, I provide hands-on practical edutainment and simple crypto investing strategies for beginners, blossoming neophytes, and the next generation OGs. So if that is of interest to you, your friends, or your family, boop the like, spank the subscribe, ding the notification bell to all, and share this information to your friends and family. It will help add value to them. And and just take a meander around the rest of the YouTube channel. There's some good stuff there, which I'm very proud of. Okay, so the richest man in Babylon, some of the best financial principles that are available for pennies. Okay, really easy to get hold of. Down in the description, there's a link both to the book and to the Audible, so you can listen to that or you can read that. Very short book, so even if you don't like reading, really good to dig into. I'm streaming the Sunday Abundance Show, Sunday 12 p.m. Eastern, and obviously 5 p.m. UK, 2 a.m. Oz, and 9 a.m. on the Pacific side of the US. Okay, so diving on. You guys will see down in the description, I have links to each chapter, which we've done one at a time. And there is going to be, hopefully by the end of the month, we'll have summarized that all together into one beautiful richest man of Babylon presentation, okay, which you can listen to or watch, or listen to and watch, whichever you prefer. And you'll have that forever for free, okay? And that's just because part of something I want to leave the world. Okay, and let's just dive straight on. So we're talking about a historical sketch of Babylon. This is a little bit of a shorter piece. Now, this was generated in the 1930s, okay, the historical sketch. So things have changed. Modern Iraq exists now, which didn't exist before. The site of Babylon is actually gone. There is a Iraqi area designated as Babylon, but the city has gone. It was about 80 kilometers south of Baghdad in, I think the name of the city is Hilla. But anyway, that is just my little input. You can, of course, check out Google search, check out Wikipedia, get a bit more info on that, and obviously check out, there might be some stuff from the area itself. Okay, but this is the word for word from the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. An historical sketch of Babylon. In the pages of history, there lives no city more glamorous than Babylon. Its very name conjures visions of wealth and splendor. Its treasure of gold and jewels were fabulous. One naturally pictures such a wealthy city as located in a suitable setting of tropical luxury, surrounded by rich natural resources of forests and mines. Such was not the case. It was located beside the Euphrates River in a flat, arid valley. It had no forests, no mines, not even stone for building. It was not even located upon a natural trade route. The rainfall was insufficient to raise crops. Babylon is an outstanding example of man's ability to achieve great objectives, by whatever means that are at his disposal. All of the resources supporting this large city were man-developed. All of his riches were man-made. Babylon possessed just two natural resources: a fertile soil and water in the river. With one of the greatest engineering accomplishments of this or any other day, Babylonian engineers diverted the waters from the river by means of dams and immense irrigation canals. Far out across that arid valley went these canals to pour the life-giving water into the fertile soil. This ranks among the first engineering feats known to history. Such abundant crops as were the reward of this irrigation system the world had never seen before. Fortunately, during its long existence, Babylon was ruled by successive lines of kings to whom conquest and plunder were but incidental. While it engaged in many wars, most of these were local or defensive against ambitious conquerors from other countries who coveted the fabulous treasures of Babylon. The outstanding rulers of Babylon live in history because of their wisdom, enterprise, and justice. Babylon produced no strutting monarchs who sought to conquer the known world, that all nations might pay homage to their egotism. As a city, Babylon exists no more. When those energizing human forces that built and maintained the city for thousands of years were withdrawn, it soon became a deserted ruin. The site of the city is in Asia, about 600 miles east of the Suez Canal, just north of the Persian Gulf. The latitude is about 30 degrees above the equator, practically the same as that of Yuma, Arizona. It possesses a climate similar to that American city, hot and dry. Today, this valley of the Euphrates, once a populous irrigated farming district, is again a wind-swept arid wasteland. Scant grass and desert shrubs strive for existence against the wind-blown sands. Gone are the fertile fields, the mammoth cities, and the long caravans of rich merchandise. Nomadic bands of Arabs, securing a scant living by tending small herds, are the only inhabitants. Such as has been since about the beginning of the Christian era. Dotting this valley are earthen hills. For centuries, these were considered by travelers to be nothing else. The attention of the archaeologists were finally attracted to them because of the broken pieces of pottery and brick washed down by occasional rainstorms. Expeditions financed by European and American museums were sent here to excavate and see what could be found. Picks and shovels soon proved these hills to be ancient cities. The graves of cities, they might well be called. Babylon was one of these. Over it for something like 20 centuries, the winds had scattered the desert dust. Built originally of brick, all exposed walls has disintegrated and gone back to the earth once more. Such is Babylon, the wealthy city today, a heap of dirt, so long abandoned that no living person even knew its name until it was discovered by carefully removing the refuse of centuries from the streets and the fallen wreckage of its noble temples and palaces. Many scientists considered the civilization of Babylon and other cities in this valley to be the oldest of which there is a definitive record. Positive dates have been proved reaching back 8,000 years. An interesting fact in this connection is the means used to determine these dates. Uncovered in the ruins were descriptions of an eclipse of the sun. Modern astronomers readily computed the time when such an eclipse, visible in Babylon, occurred, and thus established a known relationship between their calendar and ours. In this way, we proved that 8,000 years ago, the Sumerites who inhabited Babylonia were living in walled cities. One can only conjecture for how many centuries previously to this such cities had existed. Their inhabitants were not mere barbarians living within protected walls. They were an educated and enlightened people. So far as written history goes, they were the first engineers, the first astronomers, and the first mathematicians, the first financiers, and the first people to have a written language. Mention has already been made of the irrigation system, which transformed the arid valley into an agricultural paradise. The remains of these canals can still be traced, or they are mostly filled with accumulated sand. Some of these were of such size that when empty of water, dozens of horses could be ridden abreast along their bottoms. In size, they compared favorably with the largest canals in Colorado and Utah. In addition to irrigating the valley lands, Babylonian engineers completed another project of similar magnitude. By means of an elaborate drainage system, they reclaimed an immense area of swampland at the mouths of the Euphrates and Tigris rivers and put this also under cultivation. Right, and we're going to find out what Herodotus, the Greek traveler and historian, has to say about the Babylonian city in just a moment. But before we do that, I just want to go to my quick guarantee, never financial advice. Now I'm going to give you a summary of it in just 10 seconds.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah, man, I always get stoked at that. Okay, so the next thing is, now we don't shill other crypto coins or sponsor crypto links. However, this excuse me, I'm going to change. Today's show is not sponsored by Monte Carlo or Bust. Yes, I am bringing it to you next week, guys. Monte Carlo or Bust is here, but I'm going to give you a little taste of it right now. So this is what we're doing. We have taken $1,000. By the time I paid all the Ethereum gas fees, it was actually probably about $9.78. We have invested it. We are looking to get a place in Monte Carlo. Okay, now you can buy a parking. Oh, you can't quite see the prices. Oh man, the parking for sale in the Roman district for 290,000 euros. Okay, guys, it's about a 1-for-1. So that's 290,000 US, or if you're in Canada, 370,000, or a nice 2-bedroom. So it says Monte Carlo, nice 2-room apartment. It doesn't actually look that nice. This bad boy is 2.1 million euros. So that's about 2.1 million US dollars. So how are we going to do it? Or, yeah, I'll just, let's see. Are we going to make Monte Carlo? Or, I don't know if I could do this. I'm behind the scenes trying to do a little bit of magic to entertain and amuse and edutain you. Share screen. Windows. Okay, so this is going to be a little bit janky, but you're going to get the idea. This is the Monte Carlo rally.
This amazing shot shows just how lucky Cresta and his co-driver Jan Tomanek had been. Only that telegraph pole was preventing their Octavia from plunging down the hillside.
There we go, then, guys. I hope you actually managed to get some of that. So Monte Carlo all wrecked. All right, so we do not want that. So, right, let's see what's going on here. Where are we? Okay. We don't want Monte Carlo or wrecked. We want Monte Carlo. We're looking to be in Monaco. And how it's going to work is I'm going to give you some facts. We're going to look at the wallet, and here it is today. So I made the first investments on the 12th of September. Today it is the 6th of October. So that was two weeks ago. How is the wallet doing? Let's see if we can share this again. Again, I'm trying not to dox myself. So let's see. Boop, 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 boop. Here it is. And we're going to do some facts. We'll do some history. I hope to get a real estate agent to actually take us around a house in Monte Carlo. So there it is. We have a 2.7x. So we've gone from just under 1,000 to 2,700. That's as of about 10 minutes ago. Okay, guys. So that's how that one's going to work. So and then back to the show. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, so today's episode was not sponsored by Monte Carlo or Bust, but you can find Monte Carlo or Bust exactly here, 12 p.m. next week on the Sunday Abundance Show. And we'll try and get some guests in as well. I'm just having trouble. I was going to get someone in to help me today. Everyone seems busy, or they just don't do streams with other people. So anyway, there we go. But if there's anyone out there that you know that's interested to come on and talk about Monte Carlo, talk about investing, or talk about the next topic, which I'm going to have, which is a book called Message of a Master. But that'll be weaved in between the Monte Carlo or Bust stuff, because I like that and people seem to like it. Put your comments down below. If this is the chat, throw something in the chat. I am watching. I will be actually making comments in the chat, and I will be answering. So put your comments and questions in there. And if it's the replay, do go down below in the comment section. Leave a comment. It pumps your bags. It pumps the algo. It gets people that don't know about crypto into the space. People that like cars and racing but don't know anything about crypto are going to start to get interested. And everyone wins. Everyone wins. We all get richer and healthier and wealthier. Right. Okay. Herodotus, the Greek traveler and historian, visited Babylon while it was in its prime and has given us the only known description by an outsider. His writings give a graphic description of the city and some of the unusual customs of its people. He mentions the remarkable fertility of the soil and the bountiful harvest of wheat and barley which they produced. The glory of Babylon has faded, but its wisdom has been preserved for us. For this we are indebted to their form of records. To this we are indebted to their form of records. In that distant day, the use of paper had not been invented. Instead, they laboriously engraved their writings upon tablets of moist clay. When completed, these were baked and became hard tile. I'm just switching between there we go. These clay tablets, as they were commonly called, were used much as we use modern forms of writing. Upon them were engraved legends, poetry, history, transcriptions of royal decrees, the laws of the land, titles to property, promissory notes, and even letters, which were dispatched by messengers to distant cities. From these clay tablets, we are permitted an insight into the intimate personal affairs of the people. For example, one tablet, evidently from the records of a country storekeeper, relates that upon a given date, a certain named customer brought in a cow and exchanged it for 7 sacks of wheat, 3 being delivered at the time and the other 4 to await the customer's pleasure. Safely buried in the wrecked city, archaeologists have recovered entire libraries of these tablets, hundreds of thousands of them. One of the outstanding wonders of Babylon was the immense walls surrounding the city. The ancients ranked them with the Great Pyramid of Egypt as belonging to the 7 wonders of the world. Queen Semiramus is credited with having erected the first walls during the early history of the city. Modern excavators have been unable to find any trace of the original walls, nor is their exact height known. From mention made by early writings, it's estimated they were about 50 to 60 feet high, faced on the outside with burnt brick and further protected by a deep moat of water. And the later, more famous walls were started about 600 years before the time of Christ by King Nabopolassar. Upon such a gigantic scale did his plan his rebuilding, he did not live to see the work finished. This was left to his son, Nebuchadnezzar, whose name is familiar in biblical history. The height and length of these walls staggers belief. They were reported upon reliable authority to have been about 160 feet high, the equivalent of the height of a modern 15-story office building. The total length is estimated as between 9 and 11 miles. So wide was the top that a 6-horse chariot could be driven around them. Of this tremendous structure, little now remains, except portions of the foundations and a moat. In addition to the ravages of the elements, the Arabs completed the destruction by quarrying the brig for building purposes elsewhere. Against the walls of Babylon marched in turn the victorious armies of almost every conqueror of that age of wars of conquest. A host of kings laid siege to Babylon, but always invading armies of that day were not to be considered lightly. Historians speak of such units as 10,000 horsemen, 25,000 chariots, 1,200 regiments of foot soldiers with 1,000 men to the regiment. So that's 1.2 million men. Often 2 or 3 years of preparation would be required to assemble war materials and depots of food along the proposed line of march. The city of Babylon was organized much like a modern city. There were streets and shops. Peddlers offered their wares along residential districts. Priests officiated in magnificent temples. Within the city was an inner enclosure of the royal palace. The walls about were said to have been higher than those of a city. The Babylonians were skilled in arts. The Babylonians were clever financiers and traders. So far as we know, they were the original inventors of money as a means of exchange of promissory notes and written titles of property. Babylon was never entered by hostile armies until about 550 years before the birth of Christ. Even then, the walls were not captured. The story of the fall of Babylon is most unusual. Cyrus, one of the great conquerors of that period, intended to attack the city and hoped to take its impregnable walls. Advisors of Nabonidus, the king of Babylon, persuaded him to go forth to meet Cyrus and give him battle without waiting for the city to be besieged. In the succeeding defeat of the Babylonian army, it fled away from the city. Cyrus thereupon entered the open gates and took possession without resistance. Thereafter, the power and prestige of the city gradually waned until in the course of a few hundred years, it was eventually abandoned, deserted, left for the winds and storms to level once again to that desert earth from which its grandeur had originally been built. Babylon had fallen, never to rise again, but to its civilization owes much. The inns of time have crumbled to dust, the proud walls of the temples, but the wisdom of Babylon endures. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. And I look forward to seeing you next week. We're going to get started with Monte Carlo bus. I'm going to tell you all about the premise. I'm going to tell you about what we're going to be doing. So come along. It's going to be a lot of fun. Share with your friends and family. And I will see you next time. And on that note, Dr. H, out. Trying to get me outro video going. What's happening? What's happening? Oh, well, have it this way. Dr. H, out.
Bitcoin dropped 75, Ethereum dropped 85, Hex dropped 95. Which one do you think is going to get up the hardest?
Thank you. Please pull forward.
Bitcoin dropped 70.